Alright, just wanted to cover something really quick here. I can dual post this video, but this is a Kenwood TS-480 SAT. It's not anything new, that's for sure. But today I just had some fun and I put the SO-3 in and I calibrated that, so that's looking pretty good. Whoops. You can see that I have the radio kind of disassembled. The desk is in shambles here. We'll get everything back the way it should be, but I have the RF deck exposed on the bottom of the radio. But for better or worse, the radio's working fine. So I thought it was a catastrophic failure. You can see here 10 meter band, about 100 watts, give or take. And there's our frequency, so it's perfect. It's a 10 megahertz GPS discipline oscillator, so everything looks good there. What I wanted to cover really quick on these is this has the VGS board, as you can hear. If we go in and change frequency,
enter 28.5.
I wasn't aware it had the voice module in it. I believe that's what this board is right here. So it's a major pain in the butt to get this shield off, because the board comes with two-sided tape, which is a pain, but I was able to get it off. I didn't know this was the voice module, but the radio has the voice module. I did the SO-3 today. It requires clipping these two jumpers, which disables this filter, and this takes over. This is a much better. If you have one of these, spend the money, get the real Kenwood crystal, get the right oscillator. Don't get the cheap one from eBay or something. Get this one. It's well worth the money. You know, if you've already decided to invest in doing some work on this yourself, then do it the right way. But what I found is, if you take the shield off for any reason, the reason I took the shield off is I took off the little component, which I don't even know where I put it at this current time, but the number is R221, which is labeled 102. It's a little resistor, and it's super easy to get off, but I'll show you what happened once that was off. The radio was fully working beforehand, and I thought, you know, I damaged the radio, but I'll show you what happened and I'll show you how to fix it. So it's probably something stupid that most people wouldn't think of. Hats off to the amateur radio operator. I watched a video about why these radios wouldn't power on, and he pointed it out. So without his help, I wouldn't know, and I totally thought that maybe something happened to the radio. I thought something happened here, but when I probed the connector, this is, I think, Cat 6, it's showing 9 volts. So there's bias coming to the head unit, but the head unit wouldn't power the radio on. Obviously the light wasn't on either, which was something weird. I checked at the RF deck. I checked, I had positive 14 volts at the plus rail. So everything was, power was in the radio. All the weird things that you might check were already checked. But let me go in and do what I did, and then we'll show you what happened. Okay, so this is the radio again. You're not going to know probably until I tell you, but regardless, we get no power. Actually, we do this time. That's strange. Yeah, now we don't. So that's what happened the first time. It kicked on and then it wouldn't turn back on. I'm like, oh, what the heck happened? Did something happen to this? Because these are old units and you just really never know. I guess I wasn't paying attention. I thought the light wasn't on, but the light is on. So that's telling you that the board has power. But, you know, the head unit won't power it on. So, like, in that case, what do? You kind of start freaking out, you know. And you start disassembling things like I did. Long story short, when you take this plate off, actually I need to put the rest of the screws in, but there's just 1, 2, 3, 4. And you have to be careful when you take this off not to damage these wires, because from the factory, I don't actually know if it's factory, because somebody put this VGS voice board in here. All these wires were kind of tucked in this area. I don't like that. I'll probably just like take a little bit of tape and maybe just tape it on the top. I know it's not, you know, it's my radio, so I don't really care at that point, but I just keep these out of the way so they don't get crimped or pinched or damage these cables. So In his video, he was saying one of these green wires looked like it had been melted, but mine is not the case because I was careful with the soldering iron when I took that part off. But anyways, you see here, this little S201, that's a little switch. Now, never in my wildest dreams would have looked there. What happens when you flick that up? That's how it should be. And down, from what he said, this is for like firmware updates or something, so we just want to flick that up. Now you just heard the radio kind of reset, and you heard the filter board, you know, your low pass, your band pass filter board's kind of engaged. Everything else engaged in the radio. You know, we just powered on, and then as soon as that happened, I was like, wow, the radio's talking, because I didn't expect that. I have the voice module on my TS-580 SG. I think it came standard, but I didn't have it. I didn't know that this had it. So the gentleman I bought this radio from, maybe he didn't know either, because I asked him. He said, as far as I know, there's no filters in it. But if you turn that setting off, I think it's in your menu, then you'd never know. So
24.890.
I'm pretty sure if you have incoming signal, it will also ask you, or it'll tell you what it's registering. This is for blind radio operators. This is, you know, something very useful for them. There's a lot of guys in the hobby that are not sighted, and it's a very useful tool for them. So regardless of that, the radio works 100% now, so I'm very happy. And you know, sometimes you never really know what's happening, but the moral of the story is, don't do what I did. It's very easy to do, like he said in his video. So just a little switch here, so don't go and disassemble your whole radio. It is a nice looking radio on the inside. So real quick before we button this up, I'll just show you guys. Okay, so the gentleman's name is November 2 Lima, well, at least his call sign. I think his name is Len. November 2 Lima Echo November. That's a easy one to remember. That's his name. So thanks to him for that video, because I was truly lost up until that point. So anyways, this is the RF deck of this radio. It's your bandpass filter bank and whatnot. It's a very rugged radio. So it has two transistors. This is pre-MOSFET technology here. So Toshiba 2782. I'm not familiar with that one, but obviously they create a good 100 watts of continuous power, which, you know, is what you should expect. So pretty much 100 watts there, and again, our frequency is perfect. So that SO-3 works excellent. So there you have it. This whole shield comes off and stuff. The reason I took the shield off, there's a fuse, and I wanted to check the fuse to make sure, because you start ruling out things. And obviously I probed here on the B1 Plus and had voltage, so I knew there was voltage in the radio. I just didn't know exactly why it wasn't getting to the front. Well, the voltage was coming through the cable to the front, but the front wasn't powering anything on. So I know these can go bad. The cables can also go bad. A combination of things can happen, but the moral of the story is, don't flick that switch. Just be aware if you take that cover off for any reason, whether you're gonna wideband the radio, which is my main purpose, or put the voice module in, or whatever you're gonna do, that switch can get inadvertently triggered. So 73, thanks a lot there, Len.